Okay, I am starting recording. Module 4 is sort of deceptively easy because it's a business letter form, for one thing. And then just talking about mail merge, word processing. Everybody that takes the classes from me knows how to do word processing. So what we're doing is searching for just one more method that would help. Maybe you've already done that, although it's only Tuesday. One more utility within word processing. What do you think?
I haven't quite done that. So I have been looking I've been reading, and I did the discussion and the activity, but I haven't actually looked into too many other ways of doing it.
Okay. Well, I got to pull up something that is not something that's my stuff, not a student thing here. Okay. I'm just gonna, let's see, I've got to make it big enough so that it's easier to see. Zoom it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, can you see Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
Okay. And so this is just my work, so it's not a student's work. But basically, there are things in Microsoft Word that we don't necessarily always use, but which help. The one that I really push is insert. Let's see. You click on insert, and it will change. They may relabel it, change it, but they're going to always have something like Quickparts. You see Quickparts over to the upper right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's say that I worked for a lawyer that's always using this Moore's Federal Rules pamphlet. So I wanted to save this citation. And you say, well, why would you save something that short? It's easier to just type it. Well, because I want to save the precise citation with the spacing and the year and all of that. It's just fussy to have to know it. Or let's say that this case, and it may even be an example case because I keep having to use federal supplement as I cite things for the lawyer. So I might highlight that. I don't have to Control C if I'm going to add it into Quickparts. So I just go Quickparts, save selection to Quickpart gallery. Do you see that here at the bottom of the Quickparts?
Yes.
Okay. And I would just call it FSUP site or something like that. I may not even call it anything that wonderful. Because of
Not sure if you saw my message. I don't see anything. Or I see, but I don't hear anything.
Yeah, okay, I will try cell phone again.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. So, well, when I'm screen sharing, I'm using up bandwidth, I suppose. Okay. The other thing is, and I would have to screen share to show this, short keys. Short keys does fill in a lot of things, but it doesn't give you the exact formatting. So if you want to use it as a precise thing with exact paragraphing, exact, capital, well, it will do capitalizations, but in terms of having something in italics and all of that, it won't do that. I'll try screen sharing, and then I'll turn off screen sharing maybe when I'm ready to explain it. Okay. Now, you should be able to see short keys on there.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, and so when I type / and the little short key, it will type a long paragraph. Like if I wanted to do Ken Bain's book, it will do exactly that. What it won't do, though, is italicize the title. So to have it perfect, I would have to keep doing that. But it's a nice memory tool because all I have to do, if I do this slow enough, you might be able to see it. If I type / B, let's see, BAINBOO, and I won't type the K yet. Can you see what I typed?
Yeah, I see it.
And so, well, once I hit the K, I'm typing 350 words per minute. And of course, if I have a longer paragraph, like a whole paragraph, of course, then it's really fast.
Okay, that's pretty helpful.
Yeah. The other thing you can do is you can put an entire business letter into Quickparts or into short keys. And like I say, short keys is super fast. That's the advantage of that one, but it doesn't format perfect. So, like, look, this came out. Maybe I don't want it that way, you know. And the same thing with Ken Bain. I would have to go into it and then italicize this. Okay. So I should probably have a short keys version, or I should have a version of it in Quickparts too. So short keys cost money, extra money, but if you have Microsoft Word, you can you already have. I didn't have to buy an edition to get Quickparts. The other thing that is fun is if you end up in a law office where they do a lot of great big long documents, such as one simple example might be to with a long document that has a handbook for the law firm, and they say, well, we got a handbook and we've got an old-fashioned table of contents, but we didn't link anything. Well, you can create links. You can create bookmarks and links. So let's say that this is page 20 or something like that, and you wanted to bookmark psychotherapeutic or something. You could create a bookmark there. Then you could go back up to the top, and when you wanted to create your table of contents with links, you could create a link. Excuse me. Oh, they changed this, didn't they? Yeah, link, hyperlink. Yeah, but instead of existing file or web page, I always go to place in this document. So when I control click, let's say that that was on page 20, it'll bring me right there, okay? And that's pretty handy, isn't it?
Extremely.
Yeah, so I wouldn't do it for 5-page documents or something like that, but you start getting past about, 10, 15 pages of fine print or so on, you might want to do this. And I did this when I had a frequently asked questions file years ago. I did this, and I don't have a wonderful example right now, but basically these are creating hyperlinks. The only trick to it is do the bookmark first. And then the other, I suppose, a trick to it is to know that you want place in this document. You probably wouldn't use this method of hyperlinking to hyperlink to another document, although you could do that, I suppose. I never really thought of doing it, but if your boss says, well, why can't you link our documents together so that we don't have to stare at a 100-page document, but we can jump around from one document to the other. I suppose you could do that too. But this would be really neat in terms of a handbook for the law office. Let's say that you had a law office with no handbook, and they just sort of said, well, you'll learn by doing. Oh, well, fine, but as you learn by doing, you might as well create a handbook. Because they say, well, no, we don't, look on the last case file that we handled, and that's how we do our letters. We do modified block. Well, you would maybe copy one and take out the names, and then put it into your handbook, and call that letter form or something, right? So a handbook could that way the handbook wouldn't have to be 20 or 40 documents. It could be one with a with hyperlinks up on top with a table of contents. The table of contents. And like I say, the thing you could do as a student would be to do a student paralegal handbook, and it can become a law firm handbook for you on the things that you wanted to learn or that you felt like you didn't want to just guess and memorize as you went. I don't really recommend just hoping you can memorize everything at top speed during a busy law office day. I would tend to as you go, even if they have a handbook, I would tend to create your own and say to yourself, well, this is not how I'm accustomed to doing business letters, or this is a little different way. They insist on making a copy for the client and sending it out as a paper, but even if the client has emails, they always do it that way. They always mail out paper. So I'm going to put it in my handbook because I'm not going to, it's hard for me to memorize it. Or vice versa. They never send out paper copies. They always use emails and attachments. You would put that in your handbook just as a memory tool. How's that?
We're great.
Yeah. So it's, I think that word processing is a powerful tool. And I think things like using Quickparts, using Bookmark, you could do one way if you have a boss who says, I really don't want that table of contents thing, just do the bookmarks but put them in red or something. You could just do that. You could just type out the bookmark name so it says psychological evaluation or something, or mental illness commitment procedures, guardianship or something like that. You just do a table of contents there. And then, of course, with modern word processing, you can move portions of your handbook up and down anyway, right? You can move them up and down by copy and paste. The advantage of and then, of course, make it alphabetical. There's all kinds of things you can do, but it's just what I did. With my frequently asked questions wouldn't require you to alphabetize it because the table of contents can be alphabetized, right? So you could just compile it as you go. I can't remember what, have you had LawOffice experience at all, or any office type work?
Not very much. I'm not very good at typing, so I've been trying to work on that the last couple of days. But other than that, I've been an assistant for a property management, but it didn't involve much computer work. So
okay. I would really suggest then that you sort of create your own student handbook as you go. You know, based on what you learn in classes, and especially when you take like LawOffice management, you have, or excuse me, you're not going to take LawOffice management, but maybe from this course would be good because this is the closest you come in this course to sort of a LawOffice management type course. This one and the capstone course. You haven't taken capstone yet, have you? That's
no,
at the end.
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, but I would suggest that, and when you take capstone, you can talk to the instructor about it. But I would create the most practical, formatted and organized document you can come up with some of your questions in there too. Just even on just the basics. You know, what kind of filing system do they use? What do they do with, do they do formal business letters on letterhead and mail them? Do they only use email? When they use email, do they use attachments? When they use attachments, do they use attachments in such a way that the client has to call in to get the key to unlock the attachment, you know, so they can actually read it? You know where I'm coming from?
That.
Yeah, so the new client has to know the number 1453 or something to be able to unlock the documents that are sent. Or how do they do that? Do they use a specialized email system that they purchased from one of these vendors? You know, so the LawOffice technology and LawOffice management work together. You know, how do they do trust accounting? Basically, ask them, have questions in there, and then fill them in as you work on the job. Because I really don't think that pure memorization is as good. I mean, it's traditional, but I don't think it's as good as having an organized set of notes on procedures. Even something as simple as how they answer the phone. I got asked that when I hired people. Do you want me to say Kirk Olson's Law Office, Olson Law Office, or attorneys, or what? And my employees help me with a lot of that, of course. There's all kinds of things. You already did this one, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, and thanks. That was good. And I guess my suggestion would be, you know, I should have put. I do have some specific ideas on how to do, how to increase speed on that. Let me put that up on a whiteboard. See if I can do that. And that you saw how fast that popped up, right? That was another use of short keys. One of the things too is when you get a job that requires lots of typing, one of the things you might do is to really have a bunch of things, or get used to the idea that you've saved a bunch of things in Microsoft Word that you can pop in, you know, using the one already built into Word. So you have the Quickparts, but then I would also do the things that do not require precise formatting and have those on something like short keys, even though that costs a few bucks. I think it costs like $30 or something like that. But can you imagine if you could use it for lots of repetitive paragraphs and lots of repetitive documents? If you can type, you know, / RE intake, you know, that was the real estate tax. But for you, you might do an intake form, and then it would produce the whole intake form for you, so you don't have to hunt and peck on the computer to find it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it would be really helpful for like form letters and stuff like that.
Yeah, it helps with a lot of things. Like I say, I'm cautious about it for legal work because of just the formatting. But if it's like an intake form where you're just transmitting to the lawyer the person's full correct name, address, other contact information, trying to get this, you know, the lawyer already maybe talked to the person and took the case, but then wants you to do a complete intake form to make sure that that you have all the complete information for the file. Well, that formatting isn't going to be precise on that, right?
Yeah, right.
It's internal use. It's not going to be provided to any judge or other attorney or so on. So if something has lines, doesn't have lines, you know, the paragraphing is not precise. That doesn't matter. It's just that you have all the information available. So, but in terms of typing speed, my suggestion, do some short speed trials, even if there are some errors, and then try practicing with 0 errors and just go back and forth. But then I would also practice doing your own complete draft. Even it helps to do a draft. Let's say that you have a friend that you would normally call on the phone. Do them a snail mail letter instead. And see how fast you can do it. Explain what's going on to a friend. So you're totally drafting it. It's not based on what anybody else told you to do, okay?
Okay, that might be helpful. I'm pretty slow. I'm sure you saw. I'm pretty slow at typing. I kind of hunt and peck. So I'm trying to train myself the proper way and everything, so I can build up some speed.
Okay, well, you are faster than most hunt and peck people. We have students that basically don't type at all, really, and which is not real helpful because you don't get a typing pool as a paralegal. Even in a large law firm, you typically will not have a clerical person typing things for you. So, yeah, you might want to take Mavis Beacon typing or something like that and get up to. I would like you to get up to 50 plus when somebody else gives you the basic content, and try to get up above 40 when you're typing it yourself, when it's your content. You know what I'm saying?
I think I can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. But that does require 10-fingered typing, where you're not having to stare at the keyboard all the time. Try the mail merge. Mail merge is another thing that can help you out, but I don't want it to be the basis, since it's in the discussion, I don't want it to be the basis of what you're doing in the written assignment. So but try to make mail merge work. Mail merge is really great, especially, let's say that you're doing probate law or civil litigation or something, and you need to send various documents to the same people. So it's new documents, but it goes to the same people. Well, you get the people and their addresses in a database, and then every time you do something, you can just basically tell it to merge in and send it to everyone. And of course, you can take people out if you want, out of the list. But it does otherwise get tedious, like a probate, probate a little house that maybe the public assistance is going to get most of the value of the house when we sell it, but there'll be a tiny amount sent out to 35 different heirs of this great aunt. Okay. Great aunt does not have any bunch of remote relatives, and they have no idea even who does, but somebody died and they keep getting these letters and documents. Well, a lot of it's going to go to medical assistance, but sent out to each party. Do you know where I'm coming from? If we're not efficient, basically, they won't get anything because we spend too much time. The legal fees will be built up too much. But if we can be super hyper efficient, everybody, each person might get $300 or something like that. Do you see where I'm coming from, Cheyenne?
Yeah, I see that.
We kind of fight for those deals, and I guess I exaggerated with the 40 people. It's probably not going to be 40 people, but, I have handled ones where there were a bunch of people each receiving a small amount of money, small enough so that we had to call people and remind them to cash their check and send us back the receipt, and other ones, like I say, where they basically didn't get anything, but we did the probate because the family, bless them, didn't want to leave it up to medical assistants to do it. They basically kind of volunteered their time to resolve it, to get it all done with. You see, that's a nice thing because basically the medical claim comes ahead of everything except for administration of the probate. So, but people are nice about things like that sometimes or often, and of course the keepsakes. Public assistance does not want the little keepsakes. They don't want somebody. They don't want great aunt's old ironing board, right? Or the crocheted items or something like that. They just don't want that, and they don't expect us to sell those items and pay more on the medical. But we want to do this efficiently, and mail merge helps. And of course, then in the big corporate cases, the same thing happens. You say, well, it's very lucrative, maybe for the lawyers compared to the small probate or something, but it's very competitive too. Most of these, if you don't operate efficiently and rapidly, they might as well get a different attorney. They're in a big hurry. And of course, some things can't be hurried, but the corporations have the ability to compare one law firm with another pretty effectively. So you want to be as efficient and effective as you can. And from a lawyer's point of view, that is one of the big arguments for hiring a higher level person like a paralegal rather than hiring somebody who just has some practical experience but doesn't have the ability to step up and set up systems.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you want somebody who is at a little higher level, somebody who proofreads. Some lawyers that are like sole practitioners, some of them basically don't even really have a use for somebody who is at a lower level of work because they can do a lot themselves electronically, to replace somebody who is not really trying to think through and solve these problems, but somebody who's capable of comparing choices for being efficient and so on. That person is going to be able to adapt to new systems as they come out and then implement the old systems. Of course, mail merge is an old thing. If you can do mail merge, though, you can also do merge forms using WordPerfect. I still don't know why Microsoft Word refuses to do merge forms other than just like business letters. That doesn't make sense to me. They should set it up so that they can do they can merge anything other than just letters. It shouldn't be about correspondence. It should be about any set of documents that go together. You should be able to merge names and other data into a set of documents. Of course, the mail merge within Word is pretty much about sending the exact same letter to a number of different people with names, different names. Whereas merge forms, it might be like creating an entire set of estate planning documents for somebody based on a questionnaire. Kind of awesome. Anyway, when you do the discussion, just talk about what you did and how you did it. It's important, I think, to try the wizard early on. Let's see if I can find the wizard here.
Well, when I did it, I thought I saw something. I just checked to see, but I did see that they also have like labels and stuff available in on Word, where so you don't have to do just letters. But most of it did seem pretty mail or email oriented.
Okay, you're kind of breaking up, but I got it that there's labels too. Okay, that's an alternative. So what I did is I go to mailings, which is file, home, insert, design, layout, reference, and mailings. And then you can start mail merge. And it does have the step-by-step mail merge wizard. And yes, you can go to labels and just do labels. That would actually be a nice shortcut. And of course, if you're going to do it through email, you know, you could do the email version. And step-by-step mail merge wizard works very well. And the wizard also works with letters or email messages or envelopes or labels or creating a directory. And so you just start mail merge, it shows up on the right, and then just keep clicking next when you're ready. And it just gives you choices. And of course, select recipients. You have to have already created a list of recipients for that to happen. So it is kind of backwards. But when in doubt, just get help in Microsoft or call me and I will help. So can you train others to do it? Will skills using mail merge help use other features of the Access database? Probably will. And here's your live lecture quiz phrase, which is, I was just trying to circle that, but learn shortcuts, build speed. And I have to leave this up a little bit to let, because as people are going through recordings, of course, then it takes some time to pick it up. It takes like 20 seconds instead of like 3 seconds. This is one of those things that's so much easier when you're live. But when a person is listening to a recording, it's hard to stay focused enough to really pick up the live lecture quiz phrase. So let's kind of leave it up for a little while. Then the written assignment, I've been kind of talking to that all the time. We don't really want mail merge because we've been working on that with the discussion. You can use document comparisons, encryption with passwords, and of course my favorites. My favorites are really not those Quickparts and short keys are my favorites. Shortkeys.com. I should put up the website of short keys, shouldn't I? It's called a macro, but some people say it's not much of a macro because it just does text replacement. You type something very short, and and then it produces something longer or more detailed or more formatted. But of course, like I say, it's not totally formatted. I'll just put it up here and in the chat. Except I can't put it up there for some reason. I'll have to save shortkeys.com as a short key, won't I? So I'll save it as a short key. And it really doesn't produce, I don't think it produces something that is a hyperlink, really. Oh boy. Then you got to remember how you saved it, don't you? Oh, criminy, come on. SK Web, okay. Oh, maybe it is a hyperlink in the chat.
It is.
Okay. But anyway, that's the one I'm talking about, and it costs $30. I don't want students to buy it as students, but it is worth it if it helps a person get a job and show your efficiency, especially if a person gets challenged because they say, well, I want somebody that types 78 words a minute or more, and you say, well, I can type slowly, and then I can also save lots of things on short keys and Quickparts and type all the standard stuff extremely fast. So, you know, you want to be able to get the unexpected things. You want to be able to type those at 45 or better if possible, but you also want to be able to type expected things extremely rapidly by using Quickparts and short keys, or some equivalents, of course, or something else that does that.
So is the $30 like a one-time thing, or do you have to get it like renewed or subscription or?
I never paid again.
Okay.
The problem is, of course, it's like any software. I can't promise that it'll work forever. Some websites, you know, the other thing I like about short keys as opposed to Quickparts is, like here, if I wanted something up on the web, on this document or on a, while we're doing a Windows-based work online, I can use short keys, but I can't use Quickparts. I can only use Quickparts within Microsoft Word. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I like having both. You know, and it's kind of amazing because people say, well, if I'm at a faculty meeting and people say, what was that book you like so much, Kirk? And I can just go / Bain book and put it up there for them. And then I'm not violating the protocol of academics by refusing to tell them who published it, what year it is, et cetera, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
and the same thing could occur if somebody asks your boss is on the phone, and he motions to you that he needs that site that you were just talking about for a certain law in your home state, and you just produce it for him in like 2 seconds and, you know, show it to him. That's kind of neat, isn't it?
Yeah, super helpful.
Yeah. He says, well, what was that case again? And you type / stinker case or something like that, and then the complete case site comes up while he's still on the phone. You know, and he says, well, Habermas versus Bainwright, whatever. That's the one that wins for us. It was just as, you know, a complex case, just like the one we're dealing with, and then he can, and since it's a hyperlink, then he can pull it up on his computer right away too. And you know what I'm saying? You could even do that remotely. You're on one phone with the attorney and he's on another phone with another attorney, and all of a sudden on his computer screen is showing up the case, name, citation, the link. He can just go to it. You know, that's kind of a neat thing. Or they say, well, what rule of civil procedure are we really using? And of course, the controversial ones in the case, you found a way to save them. You saved them in Quickparts or short keys or something, you know. But anyway, I would just say, figure out which ones are your favorites. I told you mine, but you shouldn't necessarily use mine, but just don't use mail merge. Use something that you like, that you found, or that you've tried. And you may use mine, of course. Whatever kind of seems like it would help you do better in a law office, that's what I would use. And I would, like I say, I would use something that lets you get a completely formatted business letter and be able to get to it in seconds instead of minutes without having to find an old file, you know. And then, of course, some of these stinky things like statute section, the little section number, I don't require it in class, but some lawyers might be persnickety about doing it. But I accept SEC, but other people want it. They want the squiggle. And you can find that in Microsoft Word, but it's just awkward.
I've always just done Alt-2-1, and that works.
Okay. Alt-2? Alt-2-1?
Yeah, you have to use your the number pad though. You can't use the ones at the top. But yeah, just hold down Alt-2-1.
Okay. That didn't do it for me. That did a different symbol.
There's another one that I found. I don't remember what it is. I know on my computer it's Alt-2-1, but there's another one that's supposed to bring it up. I don't remember what it is though, sorry.
Insert symbol. See, I had to go to insert symbol, and then I had to go to special characters. But then, of course, once I saved it, then I don't have to keep doing that. I don't know if I can make this big enough. Well, you know how to get to those things, so I'm not going to bother you with it. But anyway, do something that's fun and something that you feel helps you. And so you can save citations or, like I say, entire documents in there. Click where you want the new Quickpart. That's another thing. You can put it precisely where you want, and you're going to be able to format exactly as you want. And then, of course, here's short keys. And short keys will explain itself, of course. Quickparts is free if you own Microsoft Word. Short keys is inexpensive. Saves complete formatting. Both of them, you've already proofread it. I think, to me, that's a big advantage. If you have certain paragraphs that have to go in every bankruptcy, but they're not on the standard form, for instance, wouldn't it be nice to have something that's already been proofread by both you and the lawyer to within an inch of its life, so you don't have to worry about it anymore? Short keys works in most anything Windows, including WebEx, Blackboard, and so on. This works only in Microsoft Word. So you have to do a summary of sources on 2 word processing featured, and then personal thinking is the biggest part, and then mechanics. So to be a proficient level, you want to show how 2 word processing features will assist you in office practice. Like I say, your office practice where you haven't done the same kind of a job, I would probably start a notebook on office practice for yourself, a kind of a manual for yourself and with your questions, because whatever I tell you may not be the same practice in the law firm. So even if you know it all, you don't know it all in terms of how they want it. And it should have a good balance between personal evaluation and use of the research and the textbook. Personalized goals to improve, basically. And typing skills, we went over that. I'm going to stop the recording.